You know him as the nose tackle for the green and gold, 1993 to 1999, and again 2001 to 2003. What you're about to hear is about more than just football. It's about life. This is Under the Helmet with the Gravedigger. Now, Gilbert Brown and Earl Ingram.
Good morning, Wisconsin. Wipe the dust out your eyes. Earl, you look like you've been to the car wash and they got all that gray out your head.
All right. Good morning. Welcome to Under the Helmet with the Gravedigger on the Earl Ingram Show. And I finally fulfilled my debt to one Mr. Gilbert Brown, as we made a bet several weeks ago that if the Detroit Lions lost to the Green Bay Packers, I would have my hair, dyed. And so, my hair has now changed colors.
Earl,
And,
you look good, man. I'm gonna go on. I hope everybody can see this podcast here, or whatever we call it, to see what you really look like.
Well,
we gotta get Calvin to throw up a before and after. I think everybody gonna like the after.
I got some before and after stuff, man. But I tell you what, I got up this morning and my pillowcase was full of hair dye. My wife said, "What is this?" I said, "No, only joking, man." But yeah, man. So I look a couple of years younger.
And the missus is the hairstylist, right?
Yeah.
She did a hell of a job. I ain't think that could be fixed. She did a hell of a job.
What do you mean? You didn't think it could be fixed?
She did wonders. I might have to start going to her.
And man, if the Lions hadn't lost that game, the
Lions facility is probably 25, 30 minutes from my house. I'm gonna go up there and send them boys a box of cheese and a bag of kitty litter and say, "Thank you guys. You really made my day."
So yeah, man, feels different, It
feels like you'll never bet me again. That's what it feels like.
Well, yeah, that's true. If it means that I have to change my identity, I think I'll never bet you again. Hey, imagine if it was the other way around, and I said to you, Gilbert, you got to dye everything gray. And I would have lost. I would have won.
Earl, I'm trying to tell you, there was no way I was losing. That's why I made the bet. No way. Detroit Lions are the Detroit Lions, period.
Well, I saw the Detroit Lions yesterday. They were up 21-0 in the first 7 minutes of the game.
Who were they playing? Do you remember who they was playing?
Who are the Lions playing, man? I cannot forget that.
It's that dye going to your brain.
Hey, man, who were the Lions playing yesterday?
I can't tell you because I ain't waste my time watching it.
Hey, Calvin, can you check that out for me, please?
It was the New Orleans Saints.
The New Orleans Saints in New Orleans.
Come on, man.
What are you talking about?
Come on, man. That's who took. They almost lost that game.
Yeah, it wound up 33-28.
Why did they almost lose that game?
Because
Derek Carr went out and they put that other boy in.
Yeah, but hey, does that matter?
Oh yeah, it matters.
Okay, so why didn't it matter when the Packers played the Saints and Derek Carr went out and they put that other boy in and the Packers won? What?
Because
you forget. Hey, look,
When they
This
put
old
that other
man
boy
remembers.
in, when they put that other boy in, everybody said, "Oh, we got this game right here. We got this one right here." They put that other boy in.
But this is, you forget, this old man, he remembers all those things, right?
Hey, you can't keep calling yourself old, man. You ain't got no gray hair.
Hey, let's get to the brass tacks. 844-967-2789. 844-967-2789. Do you believe in the Green Bay Packers? Or is it fool's gold?
Are you asking me?
844-967-2789. The listening audience, you watched the game yesterday.
Let me break it down
was-
before you get to running off at the mouth, Earl.
That was Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. Excuse me, that the Packers defeated yesterday.
No. Get it right. The defending world champion.
Oh yeah.
Get it right, Earl.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Now, if Calvin, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Back last week, I told you what was gonna happen. I told you, Earl, that we're gonna take down the after we beat them, after we take the Lions for a walk. We're gonna go up in there and we're gonna beat up on them Chiefs.
Hey, Gilbert.
So Taylor Swift and Kelsey and Mahomes took their butts home with that L.
So you told me 6 other times this year that the Packers was gonna win. So let's not act like every time you said
Earl,
that,
no, I didn't say that.
You got 6 losses.
But I put my finger on 2 games, and everybody that's listening, and Calvin can pull it up. I said we was gonna beat the Detroit Lions, and we're gonna beat the Kansas City Chiefs, and you gonna dye your hair black.
Hey man, let me put it this way, man. As I was watching that game yesterday, Jordan Love,
There he is.
They were calling for the backup quarterback 3 games ago. You remember?
Preach, man. Preach.
I
Preach.
mean,
Break it down,
the fans. I was
what else
reading
was
some
they
of the
calling
stuff.
for? What else was they calling for?
They were calling for A.J. Dillon to be gone. Man, A.J. Dillon, you know how old A.J. You know how old A.J. Dillon is, Gilbert?
No, sir.
25.
Ooh,
Still young.
What would I give to be 25?
It seemed like
You look like you 25.
It seemed like he's been there a long time, man. He's only 25, which means he has his whole career still ahead of him. And he's one of the oldest players on the offense at 25. Now, I wasn't good.
Earl, I want to say something. We beat the defending world champions, and we're still not at full strength yet.
Hey, Gilbert, the defending world champions are beatable. They've lost 4 games. Gilbert, they've lost 4 games.
They only lost 3 till they got to us.
Right, but so they're beatable. They're not.
Who else gonna beat them?
They've lost 4 games now. Okay, so this ain't the Super Bowl.
You know what?
Champion.
This is like the days of our lives right here. Kansas City lost to Detroit. We beat Detroit. We beat Kansas City. We're good, man.
Well, let me put it this way.
People call in and help me out.
And you know, Gilbert, there were also people calling for the ouster of the coach,
Joe Barry.
Not only Joe Barry, but the head coach. They wanted to see him gone.
Oh yeah, LaFleur.
Yeah. So it turns out, look at what they were able to do. They were able to get rid of Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers and get 15 to 17 starters, Gilbert. Man, did you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Young players
Yeah.
that they can have for, man, a half a decade, maybe a decade or more. And these cats are starters, man. They got 15 rookies from last year that's on the team and playing, Gilbert. I mean,
Earl.
all of that for Aaron Rodgers.
Earl, did you see the play of those receivers yesterday?
Oh, yeah.
Did you see it?
Yeah. Yeah, I saw
Did
that.
you
I
see
saw
some
it.
of those catches that they normally drop? Them boys, I'm telling you, they're getting right, man. They smell playoffs. They smell it.
Well, so
And your prediction of 9 and what?
it was 9-8 or 8-9.
But you said off air, you said what? They got a chance to do what? Run
Run the table.
That will put that record at what?
10-6, man, which is
No, it'd be 11
I mean,
and 6.
11 and 6,
homeboy.
11 and 6. I don't think there was anybody, for the most part, who was willing to mortgage their house that the Packers would be where they are right now.
I would have.
Come on, Gilbert. I remember some of the conversations we had. I told you I got a good memory, man.
You know, you ain't got a good memory. You showed it's that die, man. I'm telling you. Tickling your brain.
Hey, 844-967-2789. Did you see the game last night? I got to tell you, man, it was really an exciting game. It was almost like a playoff game, man.
It was classic game. It was classic weather. It was snowing all day. It was cold.
It was
classic.
844-967-2789. Under the Helmet with the Grave Digger on the Earl Ingram Show. We'll talk shortly.
The Shaw, WAUK.
Robert Hack Diamonds pays cash for your unwanted gold, silver, and even diamonds. That's right. Robert Hack Diamonds wants to make you an offer on your gold, silver, and diamonds. The process is very simple. No appointment needed. Just come on in, sit down in a nice, relaxed atmosphere, and the staff of Robert Hack Diamonds will evaluate your unwanted gold, silver, and diamonds and make you an offer on the spot. Then you can decide if you want a deal or no deal. Robert Hack Diamonds can also convert your old jewelry into something new or trade in your outdated pieces for something new and exciting. Many people inherit jewelry that might not be your taste, but you are sentimental. Why not have Robert Hack Diamonds take the golden gems and create something for you? So many options at Robert Hack Diamonds. Again, Robert Hack Diamonds pays cash for your unwanted gold, silver, and diamonds. See them in Brookfield, just east of Moreland on Greenland Avenue, or 76 in Layton, right on the corner in Greenfield. RobertHackDiamonds.com.
This is the Shaw, WAUK.
All right, welcome back to the Earl Ingram Show and Under the Helmet with the Grave Digger. As always, you can join us at 844-967-2789. 844-967-2789. Text us at that same number. And, people are getting on board the love train now, Gilbert. Under the helmet with the grave digger. Listen to this. There's just no way the Packers can have 3 straight Hall of Fame quarterbacks. Is it? Oh, I'm sorry. They're already on their way. There are people who are chiming in, Gilbert. Jordan Love has made dazzling throws all year, but they were mixed with stretches of inaccuracy. Now the inconsistency is mostly gone, and it's just dazzling. Jordan Love's doing this with what will literally be the youngest group of wide receivers and tight ends in NFL history at the end of the season. Just impressive. Jordan Love is cutting the heck up big time, catch by catch. Watson is back in the back of the end zone. All right, that's a disgusting drive by Jordan Love. Holy hell, Jordan Love just looked like an absolute superstar quarterback on the drive, a bona fide franchise quarterback. And he's looking more and more like it on a lot of other drives as well. Speaking of hot, Jordan Love has now completed 18 of 21 passes for 187 yards, 3 touchdowns, 143.4 rating. The kid can't miss. For the fourth straight week, he's having the best games of his career. That's Jordan Love. Let's go to Rico from Rock County. Hey, good morning to you, Rico. How you doing, man?
Hey, doing good,
Yeah.
guys. How you guys doing? All right, Gilbert?
Rico, what's up, baby?
Hey, man, I've been watching football since the '60s, man, and I know Green Bay's my team and everything, but man, I just can't help but think I don't know if I've ever seen such a young team take off and play this well together, this quick. And Gilbert, I have to ask you, man, in those first couple years in the league, and this is why I kind of thought this going into the season, how much of it is these first and second year cats be playing with that eye of the tiger? They want to plant that flag in the ground and say, I'm legit. I belong in the NFL. And that's why, I thought coming out this season, man, these boys are going to come to play because they want to prove they belong here. They belong in the NFL. And maybe they're going to get some pay too along the way. How much is that, Gilbert?
I'm gonna tell you this, Rico. Jordan Love, he's doing it the professional way. He not out here running off at his mouth telling you, I told you so. I'm going to just show you how I play. Because remember earlier when they were saying, Mark Murphy and them was saying, oh, we're going to give him 8 games and then we're going to see if we're going to do this, that, and the other. How you think they feel now? I've been tooting this boy horn all the way through. Get on the love train. I got my man Earl with dark hair, so I'm doing good, man. Rico, you should see him, man. He look by a mess. No, he don't. He look good.
I bet Earl look about 20 years younger today, don't he?
He sure
He
do.
look 20 years younger, Gilbert.
He got a new haircut because usually he had a chia pet haircut. Now he got the high and tight military, all black looking, like a shiny new Cadillac.
Leave the humor up to me, man. We'll be better off.
Chia.
Hey, Rico. The Packers got 5 games left. They really could run the table. There's no reason why they can't run the table. And I don't think even Gilbert can say this, but nobody would have believed that the Packers could have wound up 11-6. Even though they've got a pretty easy schedule, they knew that going. Everybody said early on their schedule wasn't the toughest, but it's still, 11-6 is 11-6.
Can check the tape. Before that Detroit game, that was how I finished my conversation with you before you made that egregious bet with Gilbert. I said, believe. You've got to believe. I for one, Earl, and I'm being. I did believe.
I know
believe,
you're a
and I
homer,
thought they
man.
could
You're
do it.
like Gilbert. You're a homer. You know.
Yeah,
You're going to go with
yeah.
the Packers. You know, it doesn't matter. Come hell or high water.
I legitimately thought they could play.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much for the call. Gilbert, here's a guy who said,
Earl,
I'll take.
Before you go, I love me some Rico, man. I love me some Rico. I like him, man.
Man, this guy said, I take everything back about Jordan Love. I was wrong.
Who said
this
that?
is this guy who's he I don't know what site this is, but he said, I take everything back I said about Jordan Love. I was wrong. Thing about Jordan Love is 6'5". He really throws a long ball pretty good. And he's mobile.
His mechanics is awesome, man.
He's got a smooth release.
Awesome. He's finding the guys in those little no-hit pockets, man. He's moving around, seeing the field, and the receivers are waking up. They waking up.
I think part of it too, Gilbert, is they know his strengths. The coaching staff knows his strengths, and they're calling plays that don't put him in a situation, right?
They're not holding back no more.
Yeah.
There's no need to hold back now. We 12 games in. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, they're opening it up for him, and when you can throw the ball down the field, you really do put pressure on any defense. When they got to worry about you stretching that field, that means the lineman got to get to that quarterback, right? I mean, you play the line. I mean, it's a lot of pressure on you.
Well, here's the dynamics of it, Earl. You usually got to have a running game to open up stuff.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? He don't have that running game like he needs to have that running game to open stuff up. This boy is doing it on his own. Do you hear me? People don't realize the dynamics of the game and what he's doing. He's doing it on his own.
Hey, Gilbert, I got to call you on that because I didn't see a lot of pressure on him. The offensive line is playing better.
You know what? You right, Earl. They coming to play.
Under the Helmet with the Gravedigger, 844-967-2789. All is right with the world. The Packers beat the Kansas City Chiefs.
And Earl has a new color.
Home of Les Paul, our awesome farmers market, and The Shaw, 540 AM and 101.1 FM, WAUK.
Civic Media News. Here's what Wisconsin needs to know. The Wisconsin Senate's new Democratic minority leader has a good relationship with Governor Evers and can work with Republican Majority Leader Devin LeMahieu. That's according to J.R. Ross of WisPolitics on WISN TV's Up Front. Senate Democrats chose Diane Hasselbein of Middleton to take over now that Melissa Agard is running for Dane County Executive. Ross says it remains to be seen if Hasselbein is an effective fundraiser. Airports around Wisconsin are getting money for safety and infrastructure upgrades. The Federal Aviation Administration is giving out $38 million in airport improvement grants. The money will upgrade runways, terminals, and roads. There are also plans for sustainability projects. The grants are part of a growing list of Wisconsin projects as part of the bipartisan infrastructure law. I'm Terry Bell, Civic Media News. Here's what you need to know closer to home.
For WAUK News, I'm Stuart J. Waddles. 3 New Berlin police officers have been placed on administrative leave after a 28-year-old man who was arrested during a traffic stop Saturday died shortly after being taken to the hospital. The man was said to have been cooperative with officers during the arrest, and the department reports that he became unresponsive at the hospital, where he was pronounced dead. The Waukesha County Sheriff's Department is now handling the investigation. The chair of Milwaukee's host committee for the 2024 RNC convention is pleased with the progress of fundraising efforts. Reince Priebus is aiming to raise $68 million before next summer. On WISN 12's Upfront program, Priebus highlighted the bipartisan nature of the effort. The Kenosha County native Priebus also defended RNC chairwoman Rona McDaniel's performance after criticism from some GOP candidates. And that's what you need to know. I'm Stuart J. Waddles, WAUK News.
When I first had my baby, I'd get comments all the time about how happy I must be. I remember thinking, I want to be happy. Why don't I feel that way? It was hard to admit that, even to my doctor. But I'm glad I did. She told me it was postpartum depression, and that is very treatable. These days, things are feeling good, and we're both happier about that. Right, little man? I'll take that as a yes.
Mental health care is working for Simone. See what it can do for you at mentalhealthcareworks.org. A message from the American Psychiatric Association Foundation.
Packers beat the Chiefs. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. The Green Bay Packers over the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. The final, Green Bay 27, the Chiefs 19. After a 4-game losing streak, the Packers now won 4 of their last 5 games. Packers head coach Matt LaFleur on how the offense is improving.
Certainly there's a trust, just making sure that we get the protection that's needed. You know, guys in the receiver room and tight end room are making plays in the passing game.
The Chiefs fall to 8-4, and next week they host the Buffalo Bills. Chiefs defensive lineman Chris Jones.
I go by the 5-minute rule. You got 5 minutes to complain. You got 5 minutes to get it all out.
NBA, the Bucks getting ready to play the New York Knicks tomorrow night at Fiserv Forum. Milwaukee held on to beat the Hawks 132-121 over the weekend. Adrian Griffin.
You know, we played a tough Atlanta team that could really score the ball. I don't think they missed in the first half, and we just weathered the storm.
That's Bucks head coach Adrian Griffin. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
Here's your updated forecast on the Shaw. Cloudy today, the highs around 36. Winds out of the west, 5 to 10 miles an hour. 29 tonight, chance for snow. 38 tomorrow, chance of snow. A dusting of snow tonight through tomorrow. For Civic Media, I'm meteorologist Eric Height. Currently, it's 30 degrees.
Lexi spent more than 6 years in foster care.
Before I was adopted, I felt alone.
With help from the Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption, Lexi now has a forever family and the foundation for a bright future.
Adoption changed me for the better. I feel like I can be whoever I want to be.
You can help find permanent homes for children still lingering in foster care. Learn more at davethomasfoundation.org.
Whether you're heading down Les Paul Parkway or fighting traffic on the interstates, this is The Shaw, 540 AM and 101.1 FM, WAUK.
Oh, darling, I'm so lonely without you. Can't sleep at night, always thinking about you. But if I had the chance to start all over, I would be wishing today on a 4-leaf clover, and leaving would be the last thing on my mind. If I could turn back the hands of time, turn back the hands of time. Oh, baby.
Calvin, come on, man. Welcome back to Under the Helmet with the Grave Diggers on the Earl Ingram Show.
I love me some Calvin. I tell you, I love me some Calvin.
So turning back the hands of time. Let me ask you something, Gilbert. We spent some time, dissecting the Packers the first half of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Spent a lot of time challenging the offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
And you constantly said all of it is predicated on whether or not those boys can block.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't look like initially that they could block. Well, they had some injuries. But Gilbert, it looks like they can block.
If you look from where they start from day one to now, they done did some shuffling on that offensive line.
Right.
You know, put a guy here, put a guy there. They still trying to find that right nucleus combination. But right now, them boys got pride, man. They're going to go out and they're going to battle. They're going to battle to the end.
Well, battling, I think all they need to do, because Love has what Rodgers had, and that's a quick release, right? He's got that. He doesn't need a whole lot of time, but if you can give him just a little, he's got a quick release. He moves around in the pocket.
Chiefs don't have a slouch defensive line either. They got a Pro Bowl up in there.
Yeah. Well, they kind of they got a lot of young players on the defense themselves, and we can say whatever we want to say about them. And the Packers now clearly look like you gotta worry about them.
You better worry about them.
Yeah,
you better worry about them,
and especially in Lambeau.
I told a guy in the box when I was watching the game. I told him, I said, man, back when we was playing, remember how Mike Tyson, before he put his boots on, they were beat.
Yeah.
That's how we was at Lambeau Field. Before they put their shoes on, they were beat.
Well,
that mystique coming back.
So the psychological part of football, maybe unless you play it, we really don't know. Fans can only go by, what we see. We don't know about the psychological part of it, but we think football is all physical.
It's not. 90% mental.
I know we always hear that, but we see cats knocking each other around. We can't see. The average person can't.
You can knock a cat around, but if you don't know where you're going, you're just wasting your time. If you don't know the dynamics of the defense or where you're supposed to be on offense, you can be physical. You can be 6'8", 4.2 speed. But if you're not in the right mental area or the right mentally to run that route like you're supposed to, you're garbage.
So let's delve into the remainder of the Packers schedule.
Let's do it.
And kind of take a look. 844-967-2789. So the fans who are excited about what they saw yesterday, just so they know that was not a mirage.
A mirage, like your hairdo, a mirage.
Not a mirage. That this is real. Next Sunday, the Packers play the New York Giants, and I think the Giants might be, 4-8. I mean, they're just.
But we were just talking about mentality, Earl. You can't go up in there thinking they 4-8, because in New York, that's a different story.
Yeah, they're playing in New York.
Can't go up in New York thinking, oh, they 4-8, we about to whoop them.
They don't have a quarterback, Gilbert.
You can't do that, Earl. You can't do that.
So what you're saying is you can't take anybody for granted.
Not right now. We can't take. We on the same level with everybody. We got to figure out a way to win, and that's what they do.
Then they play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home, and the Buccaneers always have trouble coming into Green Bay in December.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It's been that way for a long time. I don't care.
When they had all starting work done, the nightmares, we still handled that A train.
Well, coming into that cold weather, psychologically, it's something for somebody coming from Florida, right?
Yes, sir.
So okay, then the Carolina Panthers, who are 1-11. Hey, man. The Panthers are 1-11.
Wow.
And the Packers have them.
Mhm.
Can they?
That's
Well,
three. That's three. That's three.
then at Minnesota. And the Vikings, look, clearly, once they lost their quarterback, season is just about done.
Oh, so you saying Kirk Cousins was that guy?
You know that, man. Come on, man.
Kirk Cousins, the sub maker, was that guy.
Hey, man, Kirk Cousins was and is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL.
Okay, man. Go to the next. Because you go.
Yeah, it's been for a number of years, man.
Come on, man. Who's next?
And then they play the Chicago Bears.
The Bears.
Yeah.
Our warm-up team.
So it wouldn't be a surprise if the Packers ran the table.
That's what I want for Christmas, Earl. 11-6. That's what I want for Christmas.
Let me ask you, man. You go up to Lambeau. You were up there yesterday.
Mhm.
And you were up there earlier in the season.
Yeah.
Have you seen the change in the fans and how excited they are?
Oh my God. I do a tailgate party at Stadium View, which is down the street from Lambeau Field. And I get up on stage and I get the crowd all riled up. Last night, I knew somebody was going to get their tail kicked. I knew it. Just by way of how the fans were so amped up. Them poor people walking around in them red shirts looking like Santa Claus. Everybody waiting on Taylor Swift to show up. Oh, there she go.
Oh, man. The amazing thing is the Packers have some high draft choices next year. They're really building, a young dynasty.
They're about 4 players away, Earl.
Yeah, but they've got some high draft choices next year, and clearly they know talent. They got the right guys who know talent. Because again, I always say the Bears.
What's his name?
Gudicrous.
Yeah.
He knows talent because
talent dude.
I just said you go by the Bears and the Lions, and the Lions haven't been this good since 1962.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been losing.
Mm-hmm.
Every year they've been getting high draft choices.
Mm-hmm.
And they have not been able to turn it around. The Packers were able to turn it around with high draft choices in a couple of years. Clearly, the evaluation of talent is really what it's all about.
What's the G mean on the side of the helmet?
What does it mean, man?
Greatness.
Oh, man, come on.
Greatness.
Hey, Gilbert. So I watched the college football game.
Oh,
Saturday.
Lord. Oh, Lord.
Hey, Gilbert.
It's a trap.
And somebody, and there was one team that had G on its helmet. Did that stand for greatness too?
No, they're stand for going to lunch. Alabama took them to lunch.
Let me put all the rest of this stuff aside, man.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to spend a little more time up in Lambeau then, with things being the way they are now, right?
Hey, man, I'm up there every home game. Every home game, I'm up there. Every home game.
So that excitement, that energy, early on in, the season, there were tickets. The first Lion game, there were more Lions in Lambeau than there were Packer fans.
Yeah, it sure was.
But that's over now.
But did you see how many Packer fans was in the Lions place? Y'all ain't saying, don't nobody want to say nothing about that.
No, I didn't notice that.
Okay, that's probably why they got their tails kicked. That's probably why you got to sit there with your head dyed.
Hey, man, let me ask you.
Don't cut it off.
Let me let me ask you.
Go ahead, brother.
The running game, Packers, is improved as well.
They had 2 more running backs out there.
Yeah, they did.
They had 2 more running backs out there. And we don't know the prognosis on Jones, do we?
No.
He's not out for the season, right?
No, he's not out for the season, but, they don't need the rushing back now.
No,
because they've found out that they can kind of play better. I still hold the fort without him having, played.
A.J. Dillon, they call him Quadzilla. Quadzilla is doing just fine.
844-967-2789. Your thoughts on the Packer game yesterday. I would say this, Gilbert, if you look at the Central Division, and it's not exactly, the best division, but the Packers clearly look like they could be the best team in that division. Well, except for the Detroit Lions.
Earl, the Lions jumped out there, but we grabbed their back and told them, hold on, homeboy. Don't go too far. We right behind you. Imagine this, though, Earl. If
You're
we
not
get
right
11-6, if we get 11-6, imagine if we had to play the Lions again.
Hey, Gilbert, they're not right behind them.
We right behind them.
The
We right behind them, homeboy.
The Lions are 9-3.
By talent, we right behind them.
Okay. Well, I only go by wins and losses.
Okay, why you keep defending them and you sitting over there with all that diamond?
Hey, they're 9-3, man. Okay, you can't take that away from them.
Nah, you can't take it away from them, but you're trying to put them too far out of the atmosphere for us to catch them.
Well, the Packers are 6-6, man.
Right now.
Okay. 9-3, 6-6.
Dark hair, white hair. What?
Hey, man, 844-967-2789. Under the Helmet with the Grave Digger. You can join us. We'll be right back.
Oh, darling, please let me come back home. Your love has been so good to me, baby, and I just realized without it I can't go on. 'Cause for you're the other half that makes my life complete. If I had one more chance, we'd have a love so sweet, and leaving would be the last thing on my mind. If I could turn back the hand of time, oh baby, I love you, girl, I need you.
You're listening to The Shaw, WAUK.
1 in 4 Americans today are living with a disability. I'm one of them. People with disabilities are extremely talented, resilient problem solvers that have so much to offer. And we've got a trusted ally on our side, an organization we can rely on, Easter Seals. Easter Seals is leading the way to full equity, inclusion, and access to healthcare, employment, and education for people with disabilities, families, and communities. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours.
Learn more and get involved at easterseals.com.
RPG came through the belly of the aircraft. We don't talk about the female combat wounded. These are our daughters and our sisters and our mothers. Wounded Warrior Project came into my life and taught me how to stand back up and get back in the fight. The truth is, I think we all have this strength inside of us, but until you're tested, you just don't know it's there.
See how Wounded Warrior Project empowers women veterans like Beth by visiting woundedwarriorproject.org/empowerwomenvets.
The Shaw, WAUK.
Under the Helmet with the Grave Digger. As always, you can join us at 844-967-2789. text us at that same as well. Let's go to the phone lines and Gary from Sussex. Good morning, Gary. You say what?
Well, Earl, I hate to be the Debbie Downer here, but the way what happened in the last 2 minutes of that game is like Kansas City got robbed. That was the poorest officiating that I've ever seen in my entire life. When Mahomes was running for a first down and he's standing up, he didn't slide, and the guy knocked him out of bounds. That was a horrible call. The one that the receiver should have got interference on the 5-yard line, that was terrible. We shouldn't have won that game. And so as all pumped up as we are, it's like a gigantic asterisk on the end of that. So Gilbert, what do you think about the officiating? I just turned on the radio, so I didn't listen earlier. I'm sorry.
So Gary, is Gary a Kansas City Chief fan? Or?
No, I'm a big Packer fan.
Well, then, Gary, shut up. What are you doing? What are you doing, man? Hey, you know what?
He's being Gary, man.
I see, but you got to do this, man. They got a big. Hey, they had all the opportunities in the world to win. They had a big 15-yard penalty. You got to give defense credit where credit is due. They locked the boys down when they had to, because they wasn't stopping them. Every possession they got until that fourth quarter was points. Defense finally showed up at the end of the game and shut it down, regardless of the help of the referees or not. Them boys played pretty good, man. And you're going against the defending world champions. What else do you want, G Money? What else you want?
4 of their players are out on injuries, I mean, I'm a big Packer fan. I was so excited, but then, I just felt like, man, we didn't deserve that. And there's going to be a lot of problems that these referees are going to be.
Gary, what is wrong with you? Gary, you must have rolled out of bed and bumped your head on something. Is you crazy?
No, I'm happy.
We're going to take these wins when we get them, Gary.
Yeah. Hey, another question, Gilbert. You said that you're at these rallies. Do you also get tickets to the games too, so you get to go in, or you just sit there and watch it?
Hey, man, hey, Gary. Okay. Thank you very much for the call, man. Gilbert, you want to respond?
Do I get tickets? Gary, I got a key to the back door, man. What are you talking about? What is wrong with Gary? Something wrong with Gary. I love you, Gary, but don't wake up like that no more.
So let me ask you this, man. As a couple games back, I was asking about. Hey, well, we didn't talk about the defense.
That's right. I was trying to allude to it when Gary was running off at the mouth with that crazy stuff he was talking.
We really didn't talk about the defense, and
still not at
Patrick Mahomes had only been sacked 15 times the entire season, and the Packers got him 3 or 4 times.
Van Ness got a sack yesterday. Gary got a sack yesterday. Smith got a sack yesterday.
Well, they kept pressure on him.
That's what they need to do. Joe Barry whipped up something. Now listen.
Well, they wanted to get rid of Joe Barry, man. Come on.
There you go. Each possession, though, Kansas City's just about scored on every one.
Right.
Until the fourth quarter, when we needed the defense to lock them down. That's what they did. Joe Barry did his job yesterday. And how many points did Kansas City score?
18 to 19.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean,
I've been saying that all year. If they get past 25, it's shocking to me. Joe Barry doing his job, man. Some people may not like it, but he's doing his job. If offense can score more than 20 points, we win. I'm going to put it out there. If the offense can score more than 20 points, we win.
After it's all said and done, you said the Packers didn't stop them. They only scored 19 points.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't matter.
For the consecutive 2 or 3 games, we scored in the first quarter.
Oh,
We
yeah.
took it
Yeah.
right down like we did against Detroit and scored.
Yeah, well, they set the tone. There's no question that they set the tone. And let me ask you, you played the game.
Mm-hmm.
The more you win these games, the more you believe, and your belief goes up.
Your confidence level go up, man. Everything goes up. Everything goes up just because you're on a streak of 2 wins against 2 quality teams. Come on, man.
So let me ask you. So they'll continue the practice, all those things. Now they're buying into what the coaches have been talking about all during spring and all that kind of stuff. All that stuff comes together. So they continue from this point. There'll be a stronger and stronger team every week. Is that the way it works?
They got to play up to the
competition.
Level.
Right.
They got to play up. They can't play down to the level. They got to play up to the level, Earl. And that's what they've been doing these last 2 weeks, is playing up to the level. Coming out, hitting them in the mouth from Jump Street and keep it going.
But it's kind of hard we're talking about still 5 more games. They can't help but play down to some of these teams.
They can't do it. They can't afford to do that, Earl. They got to.
But it's kind of human nature, right?
No. If they smell in playoffs, if they smell an 11-6 record, they got to play up to their level. Not that other team's level, their level.
You played the game, but I don't know how you can, get up the way you were for Kansas City when it comes to the Panthers.
There's a notch. There's a notch that you got to turn up, Earl, in certain parts of the season. They're turning that notch up right now. And if they get to the playoffs, guess what? They're going to turn it up another notch. They got it, Earl. If Jordan Love keep doing what he got to do and keep this team right, they got it.
Hey, man, we're out of time.
Time go by fast, man.
Yeah. What
Your
can I
hair
say?
looks good. I can almost can't see you behind that black board you got there.
Hey, man, we'll be in touch.
Love you, brother.
Likewise.
Tell Big Sandy I said what's up. Calvin, good job today, bro.
All right. We'll be back.
Shaw at 101.1 FM, broadcasting to Southeast Wisconsin at 540 AM. This is The Shaw, WAUK. You can always continue the conversation on social media. Share your thoughts when you find and follow Civic Media on Facebook, X, and Instagram. It's fully leaded education talk, hard facts with a humorous twist. Check out Busted Pencils, Tuesdays at 7 on The Shaw, 540 AM and 101.1 FM WAUK, and on the Civic Media app.
It's easy to listen to your favorite local radio station anytime. Download the Civic Media app from the Apple or Google Play Store, then listen live or whenever you want from anywhere for free.
You're listening to The Shaw, WAUK 540 AM Jackson, W266DR Waukesha, and always streaming on the Civic Media app.
CBS News Brief. The Supreme Court begins hearing arguments in half an hour in the multi-billion-dollar bankruptcy settlement with Purdue Pharma and whether the Sacklers, the wealthy Sackler family, can evade lawsuits in the country's opioid crisis. Ellen Isaac's son died of an OxyContin overdose.
What they've done is really wrong. It's totally wrong.
In southern Gaza, ambulances rushing the injured to hospitals after an Israeli strike on a home in Khan Yunis. CBS's Robert Berger from Jerusalem.
The problem is that hundreds of thousands of Palestinian refugees fled to this area when Israel attacked
northern Gaza a few weeks ago. And now these Palestinians say they have nowhere else to go.
Tough times at Spotify. Here's CBS's Matt Piper.
Its CEO says in a post they're laying off 17% of their workforce, which equals about 1,500 jobs.
It'll be the third round of layoffs for the streamer this year. CBS News Brief. I'm Deborah Rodriguez.
It's fully leaded education talk. Hard facts with a humorous twist. Check out Busted Pencils, Tuesdays at 7 on The Shaw, 540 AM and 101.1 FM WAU.
Civic Media News, I'm Terry Bell. Here's what Wisconsin needs to know. A bill in the legislature will let anyone who wins more than $1 million in the lottery to claim their prize anonymously. The idea is to protect lottery winners from people who press them for money. 18 other states do it that way. Strategists say the next Wisconsin Supreme Court race will be a referendum on the new majority's upcoming rulings. Waukesha judge and former Republican Attorney General Brad Schimmel announced he's running last week.
Each one of these races is different. Ann Walsh Bradley, for example, will have a record of ruling on many cases that will have come before her that touch on these issues.
That's Patrick Garassi. He helped run Janet Protasewicz's campaign. He was on Upfront on WISN TV. I'm Terry Bell, Civic Media News. Now, here's what you need to know closer to home.
For WAUK News, I'm Stuart J. Waddles. Last night, there was holiday music, colorful floats, and lots of people in downtown Waukesha for the annual Christmas parade. It's been 2 years since the attack when Darrell Brooks drove through the parade, killing 6 and injuring more than 60 others. Parade organizers made sure there was extra security. A Marquette student ended up in the hospital while another was taken into custody after a firework was ignited inside their dorm room. The incident at around 10 Friday night was within Wells Tower. Law enforcement says one of the windows in the dorm room suffered damage from the explosion. The injured student was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. There is an investigation in progress. Light, wet snow is expected tonight into tomorrow morning. The greatest chances for accumulation is along and south of a line from the Dells to Port Washington. And that's what you need to know. I'm Stuart J. Waddles, WAUK News.
Hi, we're the Goo Goo Dolls. We're fortunate that our daughters have what they need to grow and learn. But that isn't the case for nearly 13 million kids in the U.S. that struggle with hunger.
Childhood hunger is a heartbreaking reality that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and provides it to families and children in need.
You can help kids in need in your community by visiting feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Packers upset the Chiefs. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. The Green Bay Packers were 5.5-point underdogs to the Kansas City Chiefs. They proved the odds makers wrong. Green Bay 27, the Chiefs 19. Christian Watson with 2 touchdown catches before he had to leave the game with a hamstring injury.
I just think the offense as a whole is clicking a lot more. I think we found our groove, taking the momentum and everything that we've been building up these past couple of weeks and rolling with it, and it's been showing.
The Chiefs have now fallen to 8-4, and they host the Bills next week. Quarterback Patrick Mahomes.
Obviously we're not where we want to be at, but I feel like we're close. We're playing a lot of good football teams really well. Winning some of those games, losing some of those games, and you be focused on another challenge this next week coming out to Arrowhead.
In the NBA, the Bucks getting ready to host the New York Knicks tomorrow night at Fiserv Forum. Campaign on what to expect tomorrow night.
Man, it's going to be a playoff atmosphere, but we're going to come ready to play.
That's the Bucks campaign. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
Here's your updated forecast on the Shaw. 36 this afternoon, under cloudy skies, west winds 5 to 10 miles an hour. 29 tonight, chance for snow. 38 tomorrow, chance of snow. A dusting of snow tonight through tomorrow. For Civic Media, I'm meteorologist Eric Height. Currently, it's 30 degrees.
Timeout. All right. Remember, we're a team that plays together. Listen, the winning will take care of itself. We just have to get everyone involved.
In interscholastic sports, we celebrate what makes every one of us unique. And in the pursuit of a common goal, everyone in the huddle, in the bleachers, and in the community comes together. This message presented by the WIAA and the Wisconsin Athletic Directors Association.
The Civic Media network of radio stations across Wisconsin. It's your hometown radio. Refreshed. Your home for the Devil's Advocates. Weekday afternoons from 4 until 6 on The Shaw, 540 AM and 101.1 FM, WAUK.
The season.
All right. Welcome back to the Earl Ingram Show. As always, you can join us at 844-967-2789. You can text us at that same number. I want to talk a little bit about something I've learned over the last, decade and a half of my life that really kind of changed my view on things. And that was actually the last maybe 20 years or so, 25 years or so of my life. And a lot of you in the listening audience have, your grandchildren live in different parts of the country, and your great-grandchildren as well. And so you don't get a chance to be around young people as much as you would like or as much as you used to. And I can tell you that there is no better way to uplift your spirits than to be around young people, young children. Man, it's a win-win situation when you can get a chance to impact the lives of somebody young. I was at an event this past weekend. I actually was around a bunch of guys that still get together. Many of them late 70s, and they have been together. These are their old middle school and high school, friends, and they're still together, and they all get together once a month. It's a great, event, and it's good to see those guys still connected to one another. But I will tell you this. It would be better for all if they took some of that time to spend with young people. I learned a long time ago, if you want to stay young, hang around young people. Young people and their zest and zeal for life really uplifts your spirits when you have a few years on you. So I learned this valuable lesson in life. Want to stay young, Calvin, hang around young people. If you want to be old, hang around old people. It's that simple. Hanging around young people uplifts the spirit of you. And you know what? All you have to do is, if you're around a middle school, a grade school, just say to them, I don't care what town you live in, wherever it is, I'd like to be a part of the school. I'd like to come in and talk with the young people. And you may not believe this, you may not know it, but they'll open the door and welcome you in. And when you get a chance to hang out with those young people who have their whole lives ahead of them, and you get a chance to spend some of that wisdom that you have garnered throughout all those decades of life, it's a perfect fit. especially right about now, around the holidays, and you're feeling alone and those kind of, you don't have to ever feel that way. Spend some time around young people. And the other part of it is, if you can't do that, the other side of this is going to the nursing homes. You want to know what the spirit is all about, what the season is all about, and what will uplift you and give you the motivation to really enjoy this. Go into the nursing homes and spend some time with people who are lonely, who just need to hear a voice, right? Who just needs to know that there's somebody else outside of where they are who realizes that they are there. The aging process in America is a horrible, horrible time, unfortunately, for far too many of us, because we have forgotten. Let's go to my good friend, Doc. Hey, Doc, what's going on, man? Thank you for always
Hey, good morning, Earl.
inviting me to the gathering of you and all of those brothers from days gone by.
Well, it truly is a magical time every time we get together. And the reason I'm calling is because I had gone around and collected the money from all the brothers for the breakfast. And I was going to go up to the cashier to pay the bill. And a gentleman came up to me and said, give me that bill. I said, what are you talking about? Give me that bill. He said, give me the bill. I want to pay for it. The bill came to $428, Earl. This man paid for all of our breakfasts that morning.
Wow.
I did take I took a little video of it. I'll send it to you. You talk about the spirit of Christmas. I was choked up, as was everybody else, and I made sure everybody walked up to him and thanked him. But that, and also doing the Christmas family feast for over 30 years. I've got little brothers that were 8 years old years ago, and I still keep in touch with them to this day, and they're almost 30 years old now. So, hanging out with young folks, that's definitely the way to go, because they'll keep you young and they'll keep you relevant.
Doc, you're one of those guys who you're a veteran, and you and other veterans get together a lot. How important is it, man, to keep those lines of communication open?
Oh, it's very important, because you have so many things in common that you can share. And then when someone needs some help, I think about when I had my hip replaced a couple of years back. Who was here to help me? All the brothers.
Right.
Yeah. So,
Doc, man, that's great news. I know I was there this past Saturday with you guys at the breakfast, and just to see guys who, man, still that number gets smaller every time, because life's not forever. But clearly, man, hanging in there with one another. Many have lost their spouses, and yet, you guys just continue to do it, man. And you're one of the spearheaders on making it happen, man. It's always great to see you and what you guys are doing. But what would you say to this listening audience? Again, people who are alone, and nobody should ever be alone, and especially during these times of year, this time of the year. What would you say to people who are listening?
well, that's one of the main reasons why I would go down every year and do the Christmas family feast, because you would have fellowship with complete strangers, and the uplift you get from that is hard to put into words. I mean, we all have the same amount of time, but to give of your time, that's the magic.
So for people who don't know, the Christmas Family Feast happens every year in the city of Milwaukee, where over 5,000 people are fed at once on Christmas Day. And there's this massive, Doc, I did that for about 15 years. And I haven't done it lately, but I may, do it again this year. But all of these people from the Salvation Army and other places all mobilized. I used to be in the kitchen working with the turkeys, Doc. We would take 200 turkeys and prepare 200 turkeys, for that day. And as there were people in other areas and others, it's an army of people. But as you stated, people who don't know one another from all different walks of life, veterans, homeless people, everybody coming together to make sure that people are not forgotten. Can't we do that every day, Doc?
I think we can and we must.
Hey, Doc, it's always great talking to you, my friend. Really appreciate seeing you. We'll be in touch.
Take care, brother.
All right. A guy, paying for the dinners, the breakfasts of people that he doesn't know. People do things from the goodness of their heart, and they don't have to be anybody special. This is what I'm saying about connect with some young people. You want your spirit to be lifted. And if you want your life to have more meaning than what it presently has, if you feel lonely and dejected and all of those different things, you got to connect with people. You got to connect with people. And I always say it's better to connect with some younger folk. The younger you connect with them, the more uplifted you're going to be. Help somebody, make a difference in somebody's life, not just for this day or during the holiday, but you can do that every day. There's always some place and somebody in need, and you can make a difference in their lives. Sometimes to make a difference in somebody's life, all it takes is a kind word. 844-967-2789. You can join us. Got to take a short hiatus. What say you? We'll be right back.
What do they do at Christmas? Oh, what do they only do at Christmas? What do they only do at Christmas? What do they do? What do they do?
This is the Shaw, WAUK.
I was proud to be a soldier.
I told the truth and got kicked out.
And so I thought to myself, I'm taking this rule down.
If you're an LGBTQ plus veteran, your memories are important too. Share your story with the Library of Congress Veterans History Project, where firsthand accounts from U.S. military veterans are preserved and made accessible for researchers and future generations. Visit loc.gov/vets to submit your stories, photographs, and documents today.
If you love them enough to listen to them practice the same song on tuba,
Please be done.
over and over and over and over and over, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
Sounds good, honey.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
You're listening to the Shaw, WAUK.
Do you hear what I hear? What I hear? What I hear? What I hear? Said the night wind to the little lamb. Do you see what I see? Do you see what I see? Way up in the sky, little lamb. Do you see what I see? What I see, what I see. A star, dancing in the night with a tail as big as a kite. With a tail as big as a kite. Said the little lamb to the shepherd boy, do you hear what I hear? Hear what I hear? Ringing through the night, shepherd boy. Do you hear what I hear? Hear what I hear? A song high above the tree, with a voice as big as the sea, with a voice as big as the sea.
All right, welcome back to the Earl Ingram Show. As always, you can join us at 844-967-2789, 844-967-2789. Text us at that same number. Let me bounce this off of you. As I was kind of going through things, there's always something that kind of stands out to me that is heartbreaking and heart-wrenching. And this story, a young man being ugly is ruining my life. What? I was never good looking. I had my relationships good, bad, and indifferent. Part of that was me wanting to take some time after a bad breakup. But in trying to get back on that horse, I realized I was ugly. What? Can you imagine? Can you imagine going through life thinking that you are ugly? What is it about a world like the one we live in that a human being that is blessed with the gift of life is somehow made to believe that their life is not valuable because the world says they're ugly? Can you imagine going through your life? We think we have issues, all of us, and we do. We go through ups and downs in this thing called life. Some of us are blessed that the downs aren't as low as they are for some. But can you imagine a person in their 30s going through life thinking that they've been cursed because they don't look good, right? So for a minute, let's talk about what is looking good, right? You know, looking good. I know plenty people who basically, would be considered to be, oh, they look really good. Listen, just give it some time. Give it some time. And those looks will fade. I don't care how good you look, because that's a temporal thing. Your looks. We live in a society that people spend trillions of dollars making sure that they look good on the outside. on the outside. And so that's how we measure people, especially in the United States. In other places as well, but especially in the United States. And so people like this poor soul has to go through their life thinking that they don't measure up to somebody we see on television. Well, you know, they don't have the best looking hair. Maybe the composition of their face is not up to par based on what our society says is good looking. This poor person wanted to take his life. Thought about it time after time after time because people referred to him as ugly. You know, in the end, it's what's on the outside fades. It's what's on the inside, baby, that counts. You know, some of the most beautiful people I've ever met in my life are people who are beautiful or more beautiful on the inside. Listen, some of the most ugly people I've ever met in my life are supposedly those who've been blessed with, you know, with an outward beauty. This young person has struggled to deal with not loving themselves, you know, and not loving themselves based on the fact that society has said that he's not beautiful. 844-967-2789. 844-967-2789. You know, this is not this young person's fault. This is our fault as a society. You know, I don't see, and I think they're trying to change it somewhat now, more so than ever before. When you look at the kinds of commercials, it used to just be the person with the perfect teeth, perfect jawbone, perfect hair, perfect figure, all fictitious things that really don't matter a whole hill of beans in this life, this thing that we call life. 844-967-2789. What say you? I got to take a short hiatus. We'll be right back.
Wisconsin informed, engaged, and entertained. This is The Shaw, 540 AM and 101.1 FM, WAUK.
Civic Media News. I'm Terry Bell. Here's what Wisconsin needs to know. Airports around Wisconsin are getting money for safety and infrastructure upgrades. The Federal Aviation Administration is giving out $38 million in airport improvement grants. The money will upgrade runways, terminals, and roads. There are also plans for sustainability projects. The grants are part of a growing list of Wisconsin projects as part of the bipartisan infrastructure law. The Wisconsin Senate's new top Democrat says her goal is to make sure every member of her party has a voice in the legislature. Democrats elected Senator Diane Hesselbein as their new minority leader Friday. Hesselbein is from Middleton. She was elected to the Assembly in 2012 and to the Senate in 2022. Hesselbein most recently served as the Democratic caucus vice chair. I'm Terry Bell, Civic Media News. Now, here's what you need to know closer to home.
For WAUK News, I'm Stuart J. Waddles. $8.5 million in airport improvements is coming to Mitchell International. Senator Tammy Baldwin announced $38 million in total Wisconsin funding from FAA airport improvement grants. The funding will be used to improve runways, terminals, airport transit, and more. It's a 4 p.m. arrival time in Tosa, 5:30 in Heartland, and you'll hear the train a-comin' in Watertown at 7:50. More Wisconsin stops are today for the Canadian Pacific's holiday train's journey through Canada and the United States. The event serves as a way to support community food banks. Canadian Pacific makes a contribution at each stop and promotes others to donate as well. Since it started in 1999, the train has raised over $22 million and gathered more than 5 million pounds of food for area food banks. And that's what you need to know. I'm Stuart J. Waddles, WAUK News.
If I could be you,
And you could be me for just 1 hour.
if you could find a way,
To get inside each other's mind.
walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
We've all felt left out. And for some, that feeling lasts more than a moment. We can change that. Learn how at belongingbeginswithus.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Packers upset the Chiefs. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. The Green Bay Packers were 5.5-point underdogs to the Kansas City Chiefs. They proved the odds makers wrong. Green Bay 27, the Chiefs 19. Christian Watson with 2 touchdown catches before he had to leave the game with a hamstring injury.
I just think the offense as a whole is clicking a lot more. I think we found our groove, taking the momentum and everything that we've been building up these past couple of weeks and rolling with it, and it's been showing.
The Chiefs have now fallen to 8-4, and they host the Bills next week. Quarterback Patrick Mahomes.
Obviously we're not where we want to be at, but I feel like we're close. We're playing a lot of good football teams really well. Winning some of those games, losing some of those games, and be focused on another challenge this next week coming at Arrowhead.
In the NBA, the Bucks getting ready to host the New York Knicks tomorrow night at Fiserv Forum. Campaign on what to expect tomorrow night.
Man, it's going to be a playoff atmosphere, but we're going to come ready to play.
That's the Bucks campaign. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
Here's your updated forecast on the Shaw. 36 this afternoon, under cloudy skies, west winds 5 to 10 miles an hour. 29 tonight, chance for snow. 38 tomorrow, chance of snow. A dusting of snow tonight through tomorrow. For Civic Media, I'm meteorologist Eric Height. Currently, it's 30 degrees.
Think you'd like working with us at Civic Media? We're having fun and moving fast to preserve hometown radio across Wisconsin. If you have the right skills to join our team, let's talk. Civic Media is a proud equal opportunity employer committed to diversity and inclusion, along with the growth and development of all current and future employees. If you're interested or are part of an organization who wants to know more, go to our website, civicmedia.us, and click on the Careers tab.
Your home of the Earl Ingram Show. Weekday mornings from 8 till 10 on The Shaw. 540 AM and 101.1 FM WAUK.
People making lists, buying special gifts. It's time to be kind to one and all. It's that time of year when good friends are dear, and you wish you could give more than just presents from a store. Why don't you give love on Christmas Day? Oh, even the man who has everything would be so happy if you would bring him love on Christmas Day. No greater gift is there than love.
All right, welcome back to the Earl Ingram Show. As always, you can join us at 844-967-2789, 844-967-2789. text us that same number. Just let's reading the couple stories that really kind of got to me this morning. And before we go to the phone lines, we talk about physical beauty, and yeah, there's some physically beautiful people, but all that fades, doesn't stay forever. Gravity will take it away. I don't care how beautiful your face is. In time, gravity will pull on it and it's going to change. I don't care how beautiful your body was and is, gravity is the great equalizer. No matter how hard you fight it, it's going to change. The beauty of the human being is not now, nor has it ever been, a physical thing. We live in a society that does say that. And let me read this quickly before I go to the phone lines. This is a letter. Should I have surgery? I'm 68-year-old retired teacher lecturer. I was married for 39 years before I lost my husband. But my viciously rational mind now knows that my face has been badly eroding my well-being for years. I've had a variety of other mental health panic buttons and points, all attached to the way society reacts to my face. I'm reaching the breaking point in my ability to shrug off the constant look of repulsion on faces of predominantly male strangers is dying. Should I have surgery in the hope that it will enable me to become more acceptable or just become more presentable? I'm more depressed and distressed and isolated. The description ugly really does exist and it belongs to me. Heartbreaking. 68 years old. Well educated. Let's go to the phone lines and Karina. Hey, good morning to you, Karina. How you doing?
Hi, Earl. You see, it's very cultural, and me growing up in a different culture, I can see the American culture, not the ugliness of the people, because the ugliness and the beauty have a whole spectrum to it. One, two, it's not how ugly or beautiful you are; it's how how much you love yourself, basically. How much you how secure you are in what you are. And if you are not secure, the first step to do that is to admit it to yourself. Not to go depressed, not to go sad, not to try things on TV, but actually learn what is the aesthetical beauty, who you want to be, how you want to look, how you want to be presented. If it does bothers you and you want to do surgery, then go have several consultations from the professionals, ask questions and concerns, and change what you can for your own benefits, not for the benefits of the society. I end up going shopping with almost complete strangers in the store because they were to recognize that I wouldn't lie. Unfortunately, in this culture, even your family and friends would rather say, "Oh, you are so beautiful. That dress is so beautiful." Yeah, the dress may be beautiful, but and you like that dress, but the dress doesn't like you. So being a friend, being a friend and being a family means that you have to tell the truth. but it also means that you have to be able to take the truth.
Karina, you said you have to love yourself, and I'm in total agreement with having to love yourself. But if you live in a society that beats you down every day and says that you're not up to the standard of what we call beauty in this nation, then there's something wrong with you. It's hard to love yourself. What I'm challenging is that standard that we've set in this nation that is almost impossible for somebody to live up to, and totally forgotten what the real value of a human being is, where the real prominence of the person is its heart, right? It's what's in the heart of a human being that makes that person beautiful. It is not on the outward beauty, because I've seen people with hearts that are some of the greatest that I've ever seen through their giving. And you don't have to look like Marilyn Monroe to be able to do that. If Marilyn Monroe was still alive today, Karina, she wouldn't look like she was looking when she was 22 years old, right? So if the measurement of who a beauty is based on that 22-year-old, how long do you stay 22?
Earl, look, first of all, the society is a bully, okay? And you have to stand up for the bully. Secondary, Marilyn Monroe thought all her entire life and was depressed and suicidal because she thought she's not beautiful. It's only you. You have to know that you are beautiful, and you have to change things in yourself to feel beautiful.
Well,
you
yeah.
need help. You can't do it on your own. You need help of people who loves you. But unfortunately, in this culture, people lie just so they don't have to tell you the ugly truth.
Hey, Karina, I wish I had more time, but thank you very much for the call as always. Let's go to David from San Francisco. Good morning to you, David. You say what, sir?
Oh, morning, Earl. Yeah, did you ever read, there's a famous old book called Famous Lives by Plutarch. It's also called Plutarch's Lives.
No.
It's like in the Harvard Classics. And Plutarch was a historian from ancient Greece and was describing, the various prominent figures of ancient Greece. And one of them was a guy named Alcibiades. And I compare Alcibiades to what you're talking about and the vanity of the people who fell for Alcibiades, who believed his own lies. And it follows well with that last woman. We're supposed to use our reputation, our reputation is supposed to be our means of exchange. If you're a good person, if you do good work, people are going to admire you. They'll buy your products. They'll invite you to Thanksgiving dinner, so to speak. A lot of, your life will be enhanced by your reputation. And in the case of Alcibiades, he was just an utterly vain guy who was apparently so handsome that he got elected 4 different times to the top leadership of ancient Greece. And 4 different times he sold out the country. So he committed treason 4 different times, and the people still would elect him, even though it was obvious that he had sold out the country. And, it's this terrifying scenario where the people are so caught up in the vanity, they'll sell out their own country. And that's why I compare it to some degrees to Donald Trump. Who has gone out of his way to buy a packaged look, to have the makeup artists of TV set his scenario, And then the people fall for that rather than fall for, rather than the people, having enough courage and courage of conviction to know what is right for the country as opposed to selling it out. So yeah, Plutarch's Lives of Famous Men, and it's the series the piece on Alcibiades.
Thank you very much for that information, David. Really appreciate it. Again, this poor woman, 68 years of age, is looking to have surgery done to her face. She's 68. She's lived the majority of her life, but she can no longer take what she's had to deal with her entire life, and that's the fact that she believes that she's not beautiful. Calvin, you know what we're talking about here?
Yes, I totally know what you're talking about. Self-confidence and your appearance is something I think a lot of people struggle with, especially as a younger person. But
yeah,
the story of this older woman that you're telling is heartbreaking, and hopefully everyone can learn to appreciate what they are.
And I would have thought that at least, a younger person, I could see it, but a person 68 years of age, that's basically my age, that she's still struggling with this and has reached a point in her life where she's willing to spend a bunch of money to change it. For what? To please people that she doesn't know. And so, these are the heartbreaking things that occur in a society that we really need to work on changing. Good time to start now. It's the holiday season. And so, make things a little bit better for people who we don't see. We don't see people, man. We see people only when they wear their mask. I'm going to talk about wearing the mask after we return. You know what wearing the mask means, Calvin?
Yes, I think I know what you're referring to.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about people wearing masks, right? 844-967-2789. All of us, some point in time, we wear masks because we don't want people to really know who we are. 844-967-2789. We'll be right back.
WAUK.
Snow brings thoughts of ways to stay busy in Wisconsin during the winter. And if you anticipate hitting the slopes, are you surprised to learn there are more than 36 ski resorts across the state? It ranges from Wilmot Mountain, which opened in 1938 in Kenosha County, to Mount La Crosse Ski Area with one of the longest runs in Wisconsin. Granite Peak offers 58 runs outside Wausau, and Wild Mountain Ski Area and its 7 lifts near Hayward. Now, do you know which of those resorts sits on the highest slope? The answer coming up. Recreational skiing started in the Midwest. The Lost Ski Areas Project reports the first documentation of actual downhill skiers happened in Beloit in 1841. So which resort sits on the highest slope today? It's Granite Peak near Wausau and boasts 400 acres at a 700-foot vertical drop. The fun and history of skiing is a true slice of Wisconsin. I'm Terry Barr for the Civic Media Radio Network.
This is The Shaw, WAUK.
The stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Savior's birth. Long lay the world in sin and error pining.
All right, welcome back to the Earl Ingram Show. As always, you can join us at 844-967-2789. That's 844-967-2789. Text us that same number. You know, Calvin, I was talking about wearing masks before we went to break. And there was a time in my life when I wore masks, right? I didn't want anybody to find out who I was because I was so concerned about pleasing people. And there was only one person who really knew me without my mask. You know who that was?
Is it your wife?
There you go. You're a smart man. So, you know, she saw me without my armor. We go out into the world and we have to put on our armor before we leave home because we live in a world that we can't trust. So what we do is put this armor on to protect ourselves, and it's so difficult at times for us to allow people to see us for who we really are. I got over that, I don't know, 20 years ago. It was, and some people never get beyond that. But I don't wear a mask anymore. And I don't, you know, who I am is the person that's, you know, I am when I come in here on these airwaves. And I love it because I don't have to put on airs. I don't have to worry about whether or not, you know, I'm going to offend people. I don't have to worry whether or not somebody's going to find me and see me someplace and I'm going to be somebody else. When you can get to a point in your life where you don't have to wear a mask and you know who you are, I can't always say I knew that. I mean, there were some times that I kind of knew the person that I was and am. And there were times that as a younger man, I tried to get away from that. But when I was able to come back to who I was as a young person, that's really kind of the person that I've been and who I was as a young boy, caring, concerned about others. But there came a point in my life when I really didn't think that it was okay to be that before the world, a caring, kind individual, because when you did that, you lived in a cruel world that steps on people who are concerned about others. Calvin, you are a young man, but yet you understood about wearing masks.
Yeah, I think wearing masks is something that everyone does to an extent, even when you know who you are and are able to express that. You kind of, just depending on who you're around, you're not the same person around every person. You kind of got to control yourself around different groups of people. But the more you can do that without alienating who you really are and who you are on the inside, the more true you will be to yourself.
Yeah, so you're a young man, 25 years old, 24, 25 years old. I didn't know that. I didn't realize that. You know, you wore the mask because you didn't want who you were to be revealed. We wear masks for that purpose, for that reason. And I think all of us, and at some point in our lives have had to go through that. And what made me talk about that was that poor woman, 68 years old, who has been wearing a mask. She is who she is. She's an accomplished woman, probably a very kind woman. But at this juncture in her life, she feels inadequate based on what somebody else thinks of her. And yeah, I'm concerned about what some people think of me. I really am. But not everybody. And so, the people the people you love, who know who you are, who you can give love to and then receive it back. That's what it's all about. But when people have to go through life worried about how they look because the society says the value of a person is predicated on those things, we really have a lot of work to do as a society. And I bring this up only because I know what that poor woman is saying is true. And as we move closer to these holidays, I just want to make sure that we at least have those thoughts about not judging people. Well, number one, we have no right to judge anybody. I don't judge anybody in my life. I don't judge you. Who am I to judge somebody? I'm a fellow human being, moving through this time. And I'm not going to waste my time judging anybody. And if we could all come to that reality, we wouldn't need tanks and rockets and all those other things. But thank everybody who made the show go. Thank you as always, Calvin, my friend. I will see you on tomorrow. Thank everybody who made the show go. Look, who said it? Michael Jackson? Give love on Christmas Day. Got to do a little bit of that every day. All right. See you later.
Tell the world, say, oh.